Okay, strap in folks, because this is going to be a bit of an old one. Today we are talking about Zorro. Specifically the Legend of Zorro anime, which aired back between 1996 and 1997. So yeah, this is a bit of an ancient creature we've got here, but let's unpack its first episode. Welcome one and all, I'm Coriander Stone, and let's see what this first episode is up to. It's a bit different than the more snappier, more put together animated anime episodes that we're used to for first episodes in the more modern era, but how does it hold up both then and now? Well, oh god, that audio design, the dub is what those accents are,
You'll never get away with this, Lolita! I know you've got Chiquita in there!
There's no one else, only Bernard!
Don't lie to me! Stop this cannon!
It's true!
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm well known for preferring dub anime a lot of the time. It's just reading is annoying sometimes, but I was less than halfway through before I was digging for the sub anywhere I could find it, and I couldn't. So if you can find the sub of this anime, good luck to you, but the dub it's got its good parts. And there are bits of the sound design which I'm pretty sure would be just as bad as they are in dub. For example, the lack of music for like half of it makes it pretty weirdly silent, but apart from that, what did I think of the episode? Well, it does set up a bit of a complicated plotline, although it starts out setting up that plotline in the most generic way possible with a exposition dump from a narrator, which is only not improved in the slightest by its attempt at a Californian accent. Oh dear. But awkward narration aside, the overall setup is actually pretty well done. We get a sense pretty fast of the entire setup of the Zorro myth, as well as how it's specifically being used in the anime. The people of California are regularly being oppressed and abused by their Spanish occupiers. In this episode in particular, there are a couple of things going on. For one thing, there's this guy Chiquita, who's been speaking out openly against the occupying Spanish forces and their oppression and is now having to flee with his family to Europe. He's being aided in his attempts to flee by Lolita, a young woman who clearly believes in taking action against the Spanish occupation, and who also happens to be the main love interest for our protagonist Diego. Diego himself is the son of a local, I'm not entirely sure based on what we saw in this episode, but basically a powerful local who's very anti-Spain, and who sent Diego to Spain, don't question it, to study for the last several years. Diego's return thrusts him straight into the middle of this conflict, and Lolita's attempts to save Chiquita, and Diego responds by making the snap decision to appear weak and useless to the occupying forces, particularly their commanding officer. Lolita is both annoyed and disgusted by his apparent foppishness, but it becomes clear almost immediately that he has something up his sleeve, and soon after, we see Diego taking to the field as the masked Zorro. And this is the part where the anime adaptation gets a little weird. Basically, they try to do a Sailor Moon style transformation sequence, except Zorro isn't a magical power, it's literally just a guy putting on masks and gloves, and yeah, you can absolutely do that dramatically, can't you, Lelouch? But, unlike Zorro's transformation looks like it really is trying to be a magical girl, and, yeah, that's something special, alright. Besides this, though, and the sound design issues, I actually quite liked this first episode. Yeah, it's kind of basic, but we do get real hints of there being more to come, in addition to this main conflict, and the Chiquita thing is all sorted out by the end of the episode, but this overarching storyline, we also find out other things. We learn of possible social tensions and financial tensions between the families of Zorro and Lolita in terms of social climbing and some of the stuff going on back there, with the sense that there's more to come there. We also get to meet the second in command of the local military forces, who's maybe not such a bad guy and maybe going to end up being more of a character. There's enough hints that there's going to be some characterization and plot there, which makes sense considering this is a 52 episode show. Honestly, I'm interested in keeping watching, kind of because of this episode, but also to see how the anime manages to take the Zorro story, which originally was short enough to make one silent film, and flesh it out into an entire 52 episode creation. So, what all that comes down to pluses for this episode. Introductions were pretty good. I liked Lolita's character. She stood out rather than being the damsel in distress I assumed she'd be. She's pretty cool. So Zorro. I liked the way they set some interesting stuff up. That did really intrigue me. Audio stuff and some of the awkward fighting and transformation stuff. Oh dear. And with all that, I think it balances out to this opening episode being a solid 3 stars. Simple, effective, it got the job done. I'm kind of curious to see where it goes, but it didn't do anything that was above average. Okay, maybe 3 stars is a little harsh. Considering the time at which this was made, maybe I should go 3.5. I feel like I should give it 4, but I just can't quite push myself there. Well, that's for this first episode. It did achieve its goal of making me curious enough to watch another 1 or 2, which I'll probably do in the future, so yeah, I guess it did a pretty decent job. And if you're in the mood for campy 90s animation, go check out Zorro. This is Corandor Stone, and I thank you for watching El Sai Kangru.